Hey there, Netta Krug. Welcome to the stream. Lucid Boar, good to see you too as well. Double positive, but you know what I mean. Welcome to the three folks so far. I take it due to such quick viewing from my fishy friends, I hope. All right, let's see if the Discord pinged properly. I think it did. I have a pretty interesting fact. Hey there, Level Up. Well, glad that you could stop by, Level Up. Always a pleasure to see fishy friends. Yep, Discord pinged right. There we go. Awesome. I have a pretty interesting fact for everybody once we get a few more people online. Or if this is our audience at 3 minutes, then we'll get started regardless. I'd just like to give everybody an opportunity to hop on. Hope everybody's having a fantastic Friday, though. Or a fun fish Friday. I was hoping you would tell me the species. Never really wants to stay up right now, does he? Doc, huh? How was it? Fair enough. I've heard it's pretty greasy as well, but I'm glad you enjoyed it. Oh, orange sauce. Orange sauce and veggies. Now that sounds like quite the combo. I'm glad that you had a good duck dinner. Welcome, Jimmy. Always a pleasure to see you, Captain. Stormcloak Guard, good to see you as well. Hey, everybody. Well, we're happy to have you on deck. After all, you are in your captain's quarters like always. All right, we've hit about the now 4 minute mark. So it is time to dawn upon the Fun Fish Friday hat and start everybody's favorite Fun Fish Friday. I have been very well today. A bit, I guess lonesome is the best word. I try not to interact with too many people because of COVID, but still try to interact. But you know, it's a bit difficult. You know what I mean? How have you been? How have you guys been doing before we start? Well, as you guys are answering that question, if you'd like. Ooh, Lucid Boar slept in. RuneScape, very nice. Sounds like quite a fun time. Is RuneScape free, or do you need to pay for that? Glad Jimmy's doing all right. It's free. Well, I'm gonna have to get it then. I thought it was you had to pay for it. In that case, I'm getting it. I've always loved watching playthroughs of it, but never got into it myself because I thought I had to pay for it, and I don't have that type of money yet. Well, good luck on your papers, Jimmy. And I have a cool announcement for you guys. One of the largest great white sharks that was originally tagged in Nova Scotia is now by Florida. Great white sharks have quite the amazing migration patterns. They go all over the world. So, went all the way from Nova Scotia down to the US of A. So, Florida, be aware, one of the largest great white sharks currently alive is around. Well, thank you very much, Akuma. This is the Fun Fish Friday hat. Very true, Jimmy. Oh, there's memberships to RuneScape. Well, all right. Well, I'll try out the free version and see if I can, and see if the membership is worth it. Well, anyway, since we're getting started, you guys know the drill. And for those of you who do not, Fun Fish Friday is where we go live and I take fish suggestions that you want to know more about, and I'll tell you facts, information, habitat, feeding patterns, unique anatomy, anything you'd like to know. I'll try to give as much info as I can. Big Blue Fish, my co-host, and I love to do this show, and so welcome to Fun Fish Friday. Megamouth shark, huh? One of the most elusive sharks out there. Barely any species or specimens have been discovered. Despite them being called the megamouth shark, they do not actually have the largest mouth of all sharks. The largest mouth to body ratio for a shark is actually the basking shark, aka the Greenland shark, which can live to be around 200 years old. So, quite a long time. The megamouth shark is supposedly found in the deepest parts of the ocean, or some of the deepest parts of the ocean. However, there have been so few specimens discovered, we aren't entirely sure if that's where they've always lived, or just one of their possible environments, or if they were a shark that was originally a lot more prevalent in other parts of the world, but went extinct due to other reasons. So, it's always a mystery. However, they are a pretty interesting shark, and unlike the basking shark, their teeth are significantly more prominent. Welcome, Jinx at State Farm. Always happy to see you. Jinx and I just got finished playing some Minecraft. We went hunting for materials in the nether. Found a cool bastion, and then we both died while hunting for nether warts. We managed to find some. We found enough to make a single ingot. If I get a couple more ancient blocks or whatever they're called, I can get another ingot. And I'm planning on making a mighty sword. Very true, Lucid Boar. I have a very unique play style, so I've been trying to kind of adapt to this new town living environment because it's on a small private server. And I usually just run in a straight line towards the sun, and I don't mine or anything. I just take materials that I find in villages or in those generated structures, and I just keep running until I decide that I want to settle down. So immediately building a house and living in a smaller environment, it's been kind of fun. I sound a little bit dramatic just for a video game, but I enjoy doing it. Islands, huh? I don't think I've ever done that. That's cool though. The glow squid. Well, as Ocean Mike, I think the glow squid is pretty cool. However, I honestly would have preferred a either swamp update, or I would have liked the ice ledger instead. I just think it would be a lot cooler to have stuff up in the mountains because there usually isn't that much stuff found up there or in the icy environments, if you know what I mean. Oh, trust me, Jimmy, I know exactly what you mean. I have moved probably 5 times longer than that. I'm not sure though. Axolotls, I'm very excited for. The cave update looks pretty cool. I'm glad you think so too, Stormcloaker. We don't, just for other people who might not know, we don't only have to talk about fish, although that is the main theme of the channel. We could just talk about other stuff like video games or just have conversations with each other. Just keep it PG-13, well, PG preferably, so no language or innuendos or anything like that. And we could just have a pleasant conversation with one another. Axolotls in general or in Minecraft? In general, I think that they're very cool, and I think that we need to conserve their species and habitat a lot more. I would very much love to do a Lord of the Rings stream. As a matter of fact, let's do that now. I'm in a very Lord of the Rings mood. I just went on a rant with my mom during dinner about everything that I know about the Lord of the Rings lore. So let's keep that train going. We can keep this Fun Fish Friday as well as Lord of the Rings. So I will tell you a couple of my favorite facts about Lord of the Rings. One of which is you might not know this, but Gandalf is not human. He's actually the same race as what Sauron, the Dark Lord, is. Sauron is the main villain in those movies. Oh, you did know that. Very cool. But yes, Gandalf, as well as the other wizards, are not humans. Sauron is not an elf. He is what they call a Maiar, which are basically somewhat like demigods in a sense. They have very strong magical powers, and Gandalf, as well as Sauron, are immortal. Gandalf, however, chose to appear as a old man. However, he can take the appearance of anything else he pleases in the human form. So, yeah, he's somewhat like an angel in a sense. All the wizards were sent down at the beginning of the First Age during the big war of like evil versus good, not versus Sauron. There was a Dark Lord before Sauron named Morgoth. Morgoth was the one who created the dragons and the Balrogs, and so Morgoth was very strong and actually referenced Morgoth's hammer with the giant wolf's head in Return of the King. In one of the final battles of Minas Tirith, they had the giant wolf's head battering ram that is a recreation of Morgoth's hammer, which is something that I find pretty cool. And that is a common misconception, Stormcloak Guard. He took the appearance of an elf at one point to make the rings. He transformed himself into an elf type looking thing in order to deceive Celebrimbor, which was the other ringsmith. So Celebrimbor and Sauron in disguise forged these rings, and Sauron infused his power into the rings as well in order to make them evil and have their own spite and malice in them. But Celebrimbor in secret, well, without Sauron, made 3 special rings that were stronger than the rest, as well as pure. Those rings went to Gandalf, as well as Galadriel and Elrond, Celebrimbor's grandson. So those rings ended up being significantly helpful, especially when it came for like Galadriel and Gandalf. I have read it, yes. I know all sorts of stuff about Tolkien lore. It is my favorite lore out there. That was somewhat accurate. However, the rest that they did was not. The only accuracy that they had was Sauron helping forge all the rings, and all the rings were originally supposed to go to the elves, but the elves were able to become somewhat aware of their evil, and they took them off and they started fighting back. But then Sauron took the rings that were given to the elves and gave them to the men and the dwarves. The men were the only ones that were actually fully taken control of by the rings, and those 9 became the ring wraiths, including the Witch King of Agmar, who is actually stronger than Gandalf, despite the Witch King only being a wraith, which is still strong, but you know. The movies, books, the Legendarium, other mediums, the Tolkien Gateway. I dug all this up from Tolkien's works. He has a lot more works out there besides just the ones that he published. So, that type of stuff. The Dwarf Lords and their Hall of Stone indeed. Dwarves are my favorite out of all the Middle-earth races. Although the dwarves weren't completely corrupted and like turned to the side of evil, they were somewhat cursed because of the Rings of Power. They were not completely controlled by Sauron after he made his ring to control the rest, but they were cursed in a sense. That is why Durin's folk have always had such a tough time with greed when it comes to gold, and also bad luck when it comes to their fortune, such as Smaug attacking Erebor and the city of Dale, as well as the uncovering of the Balrog in Khazad-dûm, aka the Mines of Moria. Tom Bombadil is amazing. Really wish they didn't cut him out. Tom Bombadil is awesome. Supposedly the first living creature. The Watcher in the Water. The Watcher in the Water is kind of an interesting creature. Many speculate that it is one of the species of like drake type creatures that were created by Morgoth, because there are cold drakes which live in the mountains and do not have wings or fire breath. There are the winged drakes which breathe fire like Smaug or in Calagon the Black. And then there are drakes that were said to be creatures of the water. And the only example that we kind of have of that is the Watcher in the Water, which is in the Fellowship of the Ring near the in the lake. I forget the name of the lake, but not only, but yes, it was in the lake by the secret in by the doors of Durin, that were created by was it Celebrimbor? By an elf and a dwarf that were actually friends despite the differences. Or by that door, what the fellowship was, that they were trying to enter the Mines of Moria. Hey there, Peter. Welcome to the stream. We're having a kind of Lord of the Rings nerd stream today. I promised I'd do one, so here we are. Just kind of nerding out, having a good time. Still taking fish requests, of course. But that is about all we know when it comes to the Watcher in the water. I personally think that it is one of the drake-like creatures that were created by Morgoth, but Tolkien kind of left out its origins, as it was not the major character in the books. What's up, USB cable? Hope you're enjoying the stream and having a great day. True, Sam was kind of the main hero. He bared the ring. He saved Frodo countless times. Sam really is the best. Never gave up. Samwise the Brave. And he too, since he was a ring bearer, he was eventually allowed to go to the Undying Lands that Frodo went to at the end of the books. Oh, he sure was. Sam was awesome. One of my favorite characters for sure. Lord of the Rings USB cable. This is just kind of a Lord of the Rings rant today. Whoa, it's hijinks. Welcome, fellas. Welcome, Funyon. What's up, fellas? Hope you guys are having a great day. We're taking fish requests still, of course. However, it was brought to my attention that I still have not done my Lord of the Rings ranch stream, so we're also just kind of talking about that. Really? Well, I strongly recommend it. It's a good read, despite it being kind of old-timey writing. Movies are great. Hobbit is great. I don't know. It's always been one of my favorites since like third or fourth grade. Oh yes. There used to be a time, I think in like fifth grade, where I had the 2 pages of that entire dialogue between Golem and Sam about potatoes and eating stew. I had that entire thing memorized. I cannot give such opinions on this PG stream. However, if you would like to DM me through other means, I will be more than happy to have a conversation with you about it. Some things, yes, Jimmy. However, they left out like half of the last book for Return of the King. Like the entire scourging of the Shire was not shown, which I kind of wish it was because that was a really interesting part. Because Sauron did not actually die in the second movie; he just kind of stayed up there, and Grima Wormtongue stayed up there as well. So, scourging of the Shire was a really interesting bit. Sauron still tried to hold on to some power and ended up like targeting the Shire. I'm pretty sure that's just a bass. And it looks like a largemouth bass. I've only seen the head of the fish, but from what it looks like to me, it looks like a bass. And if not, it's probably a carp. Pogfish is indeed pog. I'm glad you guys think so. So we can keep Lord of the Rings questions rolling, or Tolkien questions as well as fish. Very true, Funyon. Fish always dropping the base. Most fish develop scales because it is more of a environmental thing. Some fish don't develop scales as it gives away their position. But fish that require more social interactions, such as like school fish or school fish primarily are the main fish that develop scales in order to communicate with each other to an extent and to kind of ward off predators as well. Like when large school fish move together, they try to disorient predators by shimmering the light off their scales. So it's kind of a environmental or group thing. The fish that are a little bit more self-reliant after reaching adolescence or after passing adolescence, the majority of them do not have scales. Are crustaceans insects? No. Axolotl in general, I think the axolotl is really cool. Crustaceans did come first. Hey there, Ben Kenobi. Welcome to the stream, my friend. Always glad to see friendly faces. Hope everybody's having a great day. Ooh, yeah. Do I watch anime? Um, Not regularly. I've always kept up with One Piece because I grew up on that. But I usually don't watch anything now. Watched a couple, like the Netflix Castlevania, because I love the animation. Um, I've read a couple of manga, like Berserk. I always think that one's cool. But other than that, that's about as far as it goes. I do like One Piece. I am completely caught up on the lore, and I am somewhat of an expert, as that is the only thing that I remain consistent with when it comes to anime type stuff. Oceanic Michael, I would shake his hand and I would say it was a pleasure to meet him, and then I would tell him about what I do as Ocean Mike. I will have to disagree with you on that, Stormcloak Guard. I did not enjoy the 2 episodes that I watched, nor did I enjoy any of the clips that I watched. I apologize, but I'm very firm in that belief. I believe that, Jimmy. I could as well. Seems to be a little fuck. Got him. Very true, Lucid Boar. Also that. I got this crap hat on Amazon. Not sure who from. So we can keep the Lord of the Rings questions rolling. I could tell you more about that type of stuff if you have any questions, or we can continue with fish. Both work too. It's kind of the theme of this stream. I'm terribly sorry for that graphic content. Mosquito, we cannot have that in our house. You don't like Tom Bombadil? What's wrong with Tom Bombadil? Tyler the Creator? Honestly, don't know much about him. I've listened to 1 or 2 of his songs. Not terrible. But I don't follow what he does outside of that. So I'm indifferent. Tom Bombadil, he's a fun character. They think he's the very first living thing, or that's what Tolkien implies at some points. And references to him, they're like, he was there far before Morgoth and all the issues with evil and Sauron. So that kind of implies that he's somewhat related to the Valar in the sense that he's kind of a primordial being. I think he's quite cool, even if he is kind of a goofy, nature-centered character. I like him. He kind of reminds me of Radagast, in all honesty, except a lot more like a jolly creature. Maybe we can, Jimmy. That could be a fun thing that we can do. Yeah, Tom Bombadil's a good guy. He's not violent or anything. He's no Morgoth or Sauron. And we all know he's no Agmar. Hey, if you're going to be a primordial being, might as well be a positive one, am I right? Tom Bombadil sure takes that to the extreme. I really wish they kept him in the movies. They kind of were. They're going to keep him in. I think he got cut though, because he's a little bit more vague in Tolkien's works to an extent. So I don't think people would have understood the reference. I believe that Funyun, and that sounds pretty awesome. I'd buy that. Uh oh. JoJo role playing. Uh oh. Uh oh, fellas. Look out. I wield my mighty ocean sign. Someone wanted you to go over clams or other shellfish. Geoducks. I was actually planning on doing that for tomorrow, so I'm going to keep that for tomorrow. I have quite a few interesting facts written down in my notes, so that's going to be getting its own episode. Stormcloak Guard always has some pretty fun fish of the day suggestions, so I think I'm going to save that for tomorrow. But thank you for reminding me. Oh, I know you're just joking about that stuff, Stormcloak Guard, and I was joking as well. Well, I'm glad that you enjoy that, because I enjoy it as well. So, we're running a little bit long for stream, but that's all good. We're having a good time, I hope. So, we will do 2 more Lord of the Rings suggestions or questions, and then you can leave it at that. Ragnar the Red went down to Old Warwick's Dead. Best monster? Ooh, that's a tricky one. I'm a huge fan of Smaug, but then again, I just like his dialect. However, besides Smaug, I also like the Watcher in the Water and Durin's Bane, the Balrog, specifically Durin's Bane. So those are my favorites. We'll take one more and then we'll wrap things up for today. Oh, goodness. Would I like to meet? I would either like to have to meet Gimli, son of Glóin, or Thorin Oakenshield. I think that they're both very interesting characters. Plus, I just really like dwarf culture in Lord of the Rings. I find them pretty interesting. And to finish things up, an interesting fact about Big Blue Fish. Big Blue Fish's favorite food is macaroni and cheese. Keep that in mind. All right. Go over the ocean sign. Sorry, fellas. That was probably kind of loud in your ears. All right. Hope you guys had a great Fun Fish Friday. Hope you guys had a great rest of your day in general. You guys know the drill. Feel free to leave suggestions anytime or join our Discord community. Have a conversation and reach out. So have a good rest of your day. Keep the ocean safe. And like always, goodbye, fishy friends.